the long-term survivors are going to have, left and right brain. They're going to have tech brain and content creation brain.
Bernard Gershon, the disruptor. After a 15-year stint with Disney leading ABC television group properties, Bernie's been an advisor to many, including Deloitte, SpotX, Accenture, and Time. I always enjoy his uncensored and unvarnished hot takes on one moronic thing or another that big media companies and their execs do, and when I saw him at DMS, I couldn't help but pull him in for a quick conversation. I always enjoy your posts online. It's as if you go on a rampage. So I want to ask you, I'll be showing a few screen grabs of your highlights.
I deleted a lot of them.
Forget the companies that don't get it. Let's start off by who are some of the companies and the execs that you look at, the teams, and you go, this company gets it. They see where the world is going, and they're also backing it up with the right execution.
You're talking about video or just in
general?
Media
in general. The companies that we cover, media, video.
I'm going to probably lean towards we'll call them upstart-ish companies like Netflix, Amazon, and on sort of the YouTube TV side of Google. Disney certainly is, made a great presentation on Investor Day about their Disney Plus and the growth of ESPN Plus and the kind of quality content they're going to put in there. But clearly, based on, some of the large multi-billion-dollar write-downs that have been taken in the business in the last 6 months, Oath would be a good example of a big write-down. There's some that have invested and not really gotten much return.
Second question, when you see companies not doing the right thing, is it because they don't necessarily understand it? Is it because technology doesn't allow them, they don't have the tech to do it? Is it because financially there's no incentive?
I've sort of experienced a little bit of all of those things. I would say a lot of times it comes down to a company's not wanting to screw up their existing business. I mean, my goal was always, when I was at Disney, I always thought, okay, let me cannibalize my business before somebody else does. And there are a bunch of different, phrases similar that people use. At Amazon, Jeff Bezos, I don't think he made up the phrase, but he says fail fast. And they put out a phone, a mobile device. They spent who knows how many tens of millions of dollars on it. It was a failure, and they're like, okay, kill it, and then move on. So I think that a lot of the sort of existing legacy players, in our media business, don't really, don't have the incentive to try new things because the existing business model is so lucrative.
Third question, Jack Welch used to say that if you're number one or number two in an industry, keep at it. If you're not, you're wasting your time. That may be a bit harsh to apply to the OTT space, but if that's the case, is this a game where it's Netflix and Disney and everybody else goes home? How do you see that kind of SVOD landscape shaping up in 5-10 years? Who stands standing tall at the end?
I would certainly predict, if I had to, that Netflix, Amazon, Disney, will be leaders. I disagree, respectfully with Jack Welch that you have to be first or second. And I also, kind of like the AVOD space. I mean, I think Viacom buying Pluto TV, they may have paid an excessive amount of money for it, but I think that was smart. I mean, there definitely is an AVOD play, and there are a bunch of players, as you know well, in the AVOD space that are doing pretty well. And I think, when you look at the options and when consumers think, okay, I'm going to be spending $50 a month or $75 a month between Netflix and Disney and my broadband connection and maybe a Hulu or maybe some sports thing that I really love, it's like after that, you're like, I got to watch some stuff for free.
Yep.
And free is not a four-letter word.
No. Fourth and last question. So when it comes to the future, everything's converging. Do the tech companies look more like media companies, or do the media companies look more like tech companies?
That's a sort of a tough question, and I don't really know. I think the survivors are going to, the long-term survivors are going to have, left and right brain. They're going to have tech brain and content creation brain. You saw a bunch of times Apple tried and fail to create content. And I think maybe this third or fifth time or whatever we're talking about now, they might actually get it right. But when they, did a pilot and launched Planet of the Apps, I mean, everybody had that reaction. They're like, WTF?
That's it, yeah.
It's like, that's a stupid idea. But so content is not just throwing money at it, it's having really good creative content. And then, I love Netflix as a consumer, and an investor, is, they have both pieces. They're creating some great content, they have great tech, and it's a great user experience.